Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evans. Good to be back with y'all today. First of all, shout out, thank you to Kit for claiming that first. Lo, you have claimed the firstendom of the first day of the month of the first stream of the week of the month of the first of the everything of the month of the first is yours. That is your proclamation this day. Good to see you, Britt. I want to give some shout out and thank yous to people who followed over the weekend. C. Colombo, Wilpog, and Celestium Art. Thank you for the follows. Welcome to the channel. We are only 9 away from hitting 300, and I know what I'm going to do. Shout out to Gail. He gave me this idea when I was hanging out with him this weekend. Getting over it with Bennett Foddy. That's how I'm going to suffer when we hit 300 followers. It's going to be a fun time. So don't know when that will happen, obviously, but what it does, we'll find time probably a Friday or Saturday or something, do a bonus stream, maybe a little bit longer one, and have some fun with it. So yeah, so I hope everyone else had a good weekend. I got to go home, see my parents, see my friends. Today's the first. You are? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Roxy. That's awful. That's not okay. I am so sorry. Oh. It's so not okay on several levels, and I am so sorry to hear that. That is, oh. Wish I was still back there so I could give you a hug. You still have to operate the robot. Okay. So you're still employed though. You still have an upcoming leave. Like that's not in danger. No, thank you. Like if you're still employed and have to do that, it sucks, but so but yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that. In other news, my parents woke up and chose violence. I love my parents for the record, but I want to show you something. So I have the candy wheel, right? The wheel of pain, as I call it. When I was visiting them, they gave me a bunch. This is what it looks like now. There is just so much there. So 300 bits gets a spin on that wheel. 1,000 bits gets a pick. We're going to have some fun. There's some stuff on there. But they especially chose violence because this is one of the things. Yep. Gail and Roxy also gave me some things, some black pepper licorice and some sour black pepper licorice, which is also on the wheel, which is I'm looking forward to, but I'm also slightly terrified of. This I don't know when I want to find something special, maybe a 300 follower special, or if someone donates a sufficient amount of bits. But another one that my parents gave me that I think could be really interesting, and I want to try it before it shows up on the wheel, is candied young pine cones. Candied young pine cones, 100% natural, collected in a wild. Not the wild, a wild. So, hoping you're still there, Kit. So, know you wanted to see this. It's tough to get open. That smells like pine sol. I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, it's literally just a pine cone that has been candied. Where's the ingredients list? There it is. Pine cones, sugar, water. Well, let's see how this is. It tastes... I don't know. It tastes. That's what it tastes like. Gale, what's in his mouth? Thank you so much for the 22 months sub, Gale. I just ate a candied pine cone. Okay, here's my review. First of all, texture is not what I was expecting. Because it's pine cone, I was expecting more crunch. It's very chewy. Rich, I guess it's probably been boiled in a candy syrup. That's how you candy things. So that makes sense. And I'm more or less okay with that. And at first it's nice. It's very piney, it's very bright, it's very floral. The more you chew it, the more it tastes like a forest. Like it starts to taste like the ground around a pine tree smells. Like it takes on a bitter quality, a smokiness. And just like coats your mouth. So that's all I'm tasting now. So that is the thing. K-Max, thank you for the 8-month resub. I wonder why it tastes like a forest. Well, okay. First of all, yes, but also like it doesn't taste like a pine tree. It tastes like a pine tree forest. That's the only way I can describe it. And that's how I am, K-Max. I just ate a candied young pine cone. That's all I'm going to be... Oh. Why is it smoky? It certainly is unique, but you know what? Can I bring those to GothCon? No, those are on the wheel. I am bringing things to GothCon, though. Don't worry. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into our game for the day. This is why I like having 2 PCs, is I can have it set up and not worry, but c'est la vie. Although I did get my CPU back. My motherboard just arrived at the facility. And then my GPU was supposed to arrive at its facility this week, but it's in Florida. So we'll see how that turns out. Well, let's go ahead. Let's dive back into some Spiritfarer. And I think now, if I remember, I might bring the Pinecones K-Max, but no promises. How badly did Florida get hit? Some parts pretty badly, apparently. Okay, so last time... Oh, getting stuck on the ladder. We started working on Bruce and Mickey's house, so we have one thing left. They want a lobster roll. I don't have a lobster. I need to follow Giovanni at night because Astrid's like, I think my husband's up to something, and he wants a modernist desk. I think we don't... Oh, yeah, we need silk thread. We have... everything we need except that. What the heck? I swear my controller was working earlier today, and now when I launch this game, it's like, I don't know how to work. Your parish patronal feast day, protection of the Theotokos. That's awesome. Happy feast day. All right. Gonna have to reposition myself here. And then for them, we need silk fabric. So we basically just need a lot of silk for those things. Peanut, look at these jewels. For you, Bambina. No. No need to explain now. Shh. Just take them. It's a gift. Nope. No, you're not making me an accessory to cheating. Totes inappropriate. My cat is biting my leg and I have no clue why. He's a cat. Two schools and 2 parishes are uninhabitable. That's rough. Where are you going, kitty cat? I got the zoomies. Maybe I just had to get the jewels, but oh no, I still want to follow him around because you never quite know what the quest is. Oh! Oh, he did a thing. He went behind the house. I didn't know you could go back there. I think I want to go to the Silver Dragon, get more silver ore. Oh, good morning. I feel like you would like... Ooh, yeah, a small dessert. Oh, thank you. Or not. Well, you liked it, but... Dang, she's a loud chewer. Hold on. Sweet pea. I forgot. A lead on something incredible. It's huge. Listen up. Apparently there's this kid in Ambertown Park that handed out copies of Super Saver discount book. No reaction? Nothing? Ow. You kids these days. Every cent is important. You can't go around squandering your paycheck. You need to be smart about where you spend your money. Let Bev show you the way. Say you want to buy something, and you don't want to go pay full price for it. No way. You need to be chasing deals. That's what my mom used to say, and that's what I'm telling you. You just need the patience to pounce at the right moment. You need to be more like a tiger, sweet pea. Let's say you've been eyeing an archive room B2522 for your boat. Randy in Edgeburg Lane is the only one who's got the blueprint. Are you just going to walk up to him and pay full price? Sure. If by yes you mean no. In no way should you be paying full price for anything. Why? You're going to wait to find a way to pay for less. If that means taking a detour to Ambertown Park before buying something at Edgeboro Lane, so be it. Just don't go and buy that archive room B2522 right away. It won't be worth it until you can shave a few glims off the asking price. Dragon friend. I love the dragon's music. It's so good. Ah. Oh, come on. What do you mean I fell off there? It's... Roadster. Well, today is the feast of Saint Therese of Lisieux. Little way, little flower. Known for her humility and simpleness. But I came across this quote of hers that I really liked that kind of explained it in a better way than just do the thing in a vaguely holy manner. Which is fine, don't get me wrong, but it made me understand it better. It's like, she was talking about the lives of the saints, saying, look, we shouldn't be talking about these improbable stories or stories we don't know or made up and are unsure about. We should be focusing on the things we do know, their real lives, their livable lives. Because that's what we're called to. We're called to the real, we're called to the imaginable. Sorry, we're not called to the imaginary. I really like the way it was put. It's far better than I could do justice, but it ties in well with the gospel today, where James and John are like, can we call fire? And Jesus is like, oh, let's move on. What's this? Where was he? Where was that dirtbag last night? He clearly didn't sleep in his bed. Still, it's exactly as I feared. I knew it was not only in my imagination. Something was wrong. Also, a letter came for him. I didn't want to open it. Here, you read it. Please, go. Investigate for me. Follow him around. Thank you so much, Stella. Forget... Oh, you're hungry. Let's feed you something. You like normal, plain stuff. There's no hassle with plain food. Yep. Stalk him. Yeah, it's... You know, it's the reasonable response. Front reads, to Giovanni from Jennifer. Giovanni, my dear, I lust for you, Aurora. Every day without you is torture. Meet me at twilight. I will be waiting for you at my house in Hawkesbury. Your one and only Jennifer. Astrid? Okay, you don't want to talk about it. Point Docks. The arena has my marble. Sunspring Square. Flotsam Shores. Missing a lot there, actually. Edgeboro Lane. Where did... Head to Edgeboro Lane. Oh, okay. do that. Perkadoo. Desiring to be loved is a natural part of human and is inherently. How are we stand from the desire of being... Oh, the litany of humility. I have a feeling that's a language thing. I don't know what language was originally translated it from, but... And it's... It's not desiring to be loved. I think it's more the center of attention kind of love. The, like, being... Yeah, I know. The kind of love that isn't truly about receiving, but is about taking, if that makes sense. Oh my goodness, you guys are impossible to feed. Free grub, finally. Yeah, I want to do this comet thing. You want to do more? It's your funeral. Oh, thanks, Astrid. Or Giovanni. Again, just a banger of a track. Being loved by Christ is more important. Yeah, I think that's also part of it. I think it's... I do think that there's a language thing going on there. With like what... Because like, English is stuck with one word for love. No, I understood what you meant. Okay, Max. We just want to eat a calcium-filled Gros Michel banana coated in gold. How hard is that? Oh! Oh! So I think my weaving shop is over here. There it is. Yep, wrong building. That's the building. Let's make it.
Huh?
It's the beginning to the end. By the... Okay. Oh, look at that. It's finally here. Look at that. Look at the curves. It's perfect fit from the materials. Truly a masterpiece. I'll be able to accomplish my immense work much more comfortably and glamorously. Now I can manage most of the smaller pieces by myself, but the larger ones is the desk. We'll have to manufacture ourselves. Once I've received some designs from collaborators, I'll give them over to you. I'll sure you'll be, as usual, perfectly competent in executing them. I'm sure I will. Thank you. And now he wants his room decked out. How much silk do I have now? Because I need 12, I think, to finish off the one pair. Ooh, I think I have just enough. Yeah! Lifestyles of the rich and famous completed. Scout, get in here! Mickey loves it. It's exactly up his alley. Don't tell him this, but he wanted to upstage Romeo. You wouldn't know him. He's this guy from South Shore. He has expensive taste. He has this awful mansion. He would boast around town about his house. Mickey hated it. Listen, you've been doing enough running around. We should get going somewhere. Take you out and relax a bit. Let me and Mickey think of something. I'm terrified. Burkadoo too. We don't rely solely on our own strength in times of hardship. We also rely on God's strength and God's courage. What exactly does this mean, like on both a practical and theological level? Sometimes easier to talk about in the theological level, because... Excuse me. If God is the one who makes us, so by extension, it is fully trusting in his constant creation of us and being in touch with that creating spirit that gives us strength and love. In a practical way, I mean, it's easy to say, oh, like prayer. Okay, well, okay, so that's how I do that. It's just the same as other relationships, honestly. Like, having that trust to know that they're making decisions in an informed way for you. I am the Lizard King! Okay. Stella, Pampina, you startled me playing tricks on your good old Giovanni. Ah, that's the spirit, but what are you doing here? Oh, alright, suit yourself. Well, sorry, what? Me? Oh, I'm shopping. Yes, I'm shopping. I need to buy medicine for my back, you know. Oh, it aches terribly. Oh, the tragedy. Yeah, I know this is kind of a dodgy place. You'd expect to find secondhand thrift jewelry here. Well, high-end TVs with bumpy boxes especially fell out of shipping truck. But I never judge a dog on how clean its fur is. Not everything can be as resplendent as me. Alright, gotta go now. See you. Let me in! I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking for to buy this. Don't talk to me. Fine. Yeah, so we think of creation sometimes like a once and done kind of thing, like, you know, either in our human way or when referring to God, it's like a snap of the fingers and boom, it's done. It's like, well, no, it is something God is constantly doing. God is constantly letting everything be in existence and bringing it, you know, imagine, I think this is actually where J.R.R. Tolkien really shines in using theology. In the creation myth of the Silmarillion, the universe is sung into existence. Well, the song can only exist so long as God is singing. And so imagine someone sort of physically holding you up. Well, okay, if you want to trust them, repositioning yourself in how you physically stand, like on their shoulders or in their arms or whatever, is going to change the dynamic and change the trust. You got it! Nice! Good job finding the music sheet for the bottom end. Now let her rip! Play the song in the middle there. Let's stop this madness. Unite us! Fight! Fight! Liars! No, I'm playing music. Amazing! You sure know how to rock. I told you. I told them. It's the same song. Thanks for settling this argument. Now let these so-called music lovers leave us alone. Yeah. Pulse versus science. That's cute. Back from Ari. Randy's got you. A bovine license. Let's buy a couple, because we need one for the pen and then probably one to buy the cow. That trust can be very hard. Yeah? Do I have Sugar King already? I don't think so. Sure. Let's buy the archive room, 'cause that's what we came here for. Can you explain how it fits with the fact that it's never our own strength? Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, being held up by someone else, like, to reach something. Like, you're not reaching for it on your own, objectively. And you can squirm and wiggle and make it uncomfortable for both of you, or you can trust and stand in a way where it's like, cool. This exemplifies trust. And then Melkor decides that instead of participating in the beautiful music of Eru, he'll make his own music. Yes, but Eru is even like, haha, I will use your discordant noise to make an even more beautiful noise. Onu reverses him. All according to Keikaku. I mean, in the case of Eru Iluvatar, basically, yeah. Okay, I guess I need... So, Beverly, head to Oxbury, and lobster roll. Probably I need that lobster roll, and that's the last thing I need to give them before they leave, honestly. I'm very disappointed in you, Sal. You're always in a hurry. If you could press a button and order anything, you would do it, even at an exorbitant price. Yeah. Anyway, you should go ahead and build Archive Room B2522. You bought it. You've earned it. Yeah, it's my boat, my money. If that's how I choose to spend it and spend my time. Need linen and ash planks. Should be able to do that pretty easily. I know I have plenty of ash. You're welcome. I'll make my own music with blackjack. And thank you for slightly editing that quote. Within the base trilogy, Eru X twice, one sending Gandalf back and the other causing Gollum to slip. Yep. These plants done? I think they're done. They are. Cool. Let's get that fire glow. Spiritual director brought up the fact that's not just my strength and courage. Yeah. Let's plant some odd seeds. Good point, Gail. You don't need to be strong enough alone, because you're not alone. Let's set a course for... I'll make sure I'm good. Oxbury. Okay. Exclamation mark. I'd love to go there. I can't. But I can go to Oxbury. See. Let's put in some wheat flour and sure, some chicken. Make some fried chicken. Or actually, that won't make fried chicken. Fried chicken's oil and chicken. But anyway, make some ash planks. Yep. Ray Hurd might be a nerd. Although I did know that the 3 words there were holy, mighty, and immortal. That's awesome. Doing I guess the Trisegion. Give me my junk. Okay, and the other thing I needed to do is linen. So I have some fibers. That's all I have is fibers. So I need to grow some more linen. Well, that should be enough for now. No, I'm gonna skip this one. But I do need to feed you because you're hungry. Here, have some tea. If you can't feel your face after having some tea, I think you have an allergy. I don't have linen, flax. I forget what. Have I redeemed it? No, they're still there. I do limit. There's a 5-minute cooldown after someone gets one. Did someone redeem one and I just didn't notice? Oh, Gale, you redeemed one. I didn't even notice that. My bad. I did one 25 minutes ago. I'm sorry! Still adjusting to the new chat layout. You waited for this father joke, just like I waited for an Elton John concert. I think it's going to be a long, long time. Still says I have suck. I blame Twitch then. Have one on Gale. Well, in order to help me out with this, I ordered a book of puns last week, but I didn't get it. Boo is the appropriate response. Don't have bottled ectoplasm, but I can make a cow stall finally. Let's put it right over Beverly's house. That's what she'd want. It comes with a cow. Why is this cow so realistic looking? I'm only not refunding that because I was giving it away. That's fair. Wasn't saying boo, he was saying boo earns. Right, I was getting linen to make that thing. It can go next to the cow because we all know cows are excellent archivists. What is this very specific building she wanted me to make? Yeah, I can get acetates. That's cool.
Oh, not bad. This looks great. Reminds me a bit of my late husband, David's classroom. Obviously, you never met him, but you knew he was a high school teacher. You already knew that. The room, it's just very similar. You should go inside and take a peek. Maybe see if the projector still works.
It looks like it, but I don't have anything.
Sweet pea. Nothing to show? Oh, you can try this. Here's my husband's work things. Maybe it'll work.
Math 116 lecture notes.
Oh, wow. David was a math teacher. He's at Chelsea High for 20 years. We met on a blind date. A new bachelor's snitched up quickly in a small town. My friend Pauline matched us up. She was the school's secretary. Yeah, that school would have been in shambles without her. She was the first to see him and called me the second he was out of her sight. Baby, I just met the love of your life. How about that? She was right, to a point. I always loved the love of his life. He was gone too quickly to be the love of mine. I never met anyone as special as him. He had a warmth that I was never able to find again. Well, what are we looking at? Oh, it must be a formula or something. I've never been great at math. My brain gets confused with numbers. I have that in common with... She told me she wasn't great with... I'm just tired. I can feel it in my bones. Don't ever get old, Stella. It wouldn't suit you.
Oh, no, we're giving the... Don't give the feels again, game! You'll have middle schoolers in your building? I'm sure it'll be fine. Just tell them it's a Skibbity Ohio Riz Day. Let's use cake. Or milk, not cake. Milk and flour, see what happens. It's good Skibbity Rizzle to you, children. It's giving good day vibes. No, it makes sense that they need to use the conference rooms. I don't have random zinc ore, but that's not hard to get. I don't have bottled ectoplasm, but I can just make her trinkets. Pine plank and electum sheets. I think I could do that. Let's see if I have pine. Nope. No pine yet. a feeling I need to process the sugar cane. You know, I do have pine cones. They are... They're not what I expected. No, it makes sense on, like, multiple levels, like, why you have to do that. And the fact that, yeah, it is inconvenient, but... So we are looking for Giovanni's indiscreet meeting here. Remember? Remember what? Oh... Is that telling me I should be sneaking up on him? Oh, that's right. That's the... There is a power-up we don't have yet, which lets you jump off of bouncy things higher. You have... Potato, mulberry, wheat. No, you don't have the seed I'm looking for. No choice, some lemonade. It's fresh squeeze. Yeah, no, I hope everyone's okay, and you know, if you've lost your home in an event like that, it is tragic and traumatic. Hey, we made crepes. Enough. I've had enough. I thought I was stronger than that, but obviously I was wrong. I can't tolerate that any longer. He's driving me up walls. He's following me everywhere. He talks and talks and talks. And I know he lies. All the time. Everything he says is a blatant lie. What did you find out there? Was he cheating on me? Tell me. Well, we didn't actively see him with someone. I knew it. I knew it! Thank you for telling me the truth, Munchkin. I knew I could count on you. Where's my heart that I can trust on someone? Now, please. You know what to do. I don't want to see his face anymore. He's out. Out of my house. Out of my hair. Lots of damage. Oof. Yeah, nose. Sweet pea, I do enjoy being on this boat. I've been wondering, would it be possible to build me a house? You remember the kids and David and I lived on a farm? We had nature all around. We had dogs and goats. It was a cozy little farmhouse. It wasn't much, but it was ours. What am I saying? You've already done that for me. I was just testing you to see if you were quick on your feet. As you can see, you're still sharp, which reminds me that I need to get my kitchen knives sharpened. That's just something my childhood friend Daryl didn't do. He was cutting vegetables one day, and just like that, the blade bent, broke, and shattered all over the place, mostly in his face. He had bandages on his face from all the cuts. His wife Hannah left him.
Not because of the cuts, but because he had a secret family 2 towns over. That just goes to show you can't trust a man who doesn't sharpen his knives. Well, I guess I'll go home.
Okay, so we actually already had a character with dementia of sorts, but they're handling this one differently, and I kind of dig that. It's interesting. Oh, I don't think we've done the shrine here at Oxbury. I need to get my knife sharpened. Or replaced. That is an option. Don't mind me just gonna chop down this tree in public. Yeah! There we go. Been wanting this. Would have been nice to grab earlier, but... it's loud. On the bright side, I am safe, and honestly, it's really good for me to be with friends. Felt so loved. Well, that's good. Glad. Well, that was quite the bounce up. I don't know how I didn't get that chest. It's just right there. Okay. Waiting there. Lobster. If I were a lobster, what weird corner of this ocean would I be hiding in? Go there. Let's see what this is about. A letter from Albert. Dear valued customer, we are running a special promotion. Encloses our new buildings, the Funtacular series on Bouncy platform. Okay, so now that we have the jump thing, it's given that to us.
Stella, this is quite the vessel. At this point, it's essentially a sailing village, a real community. Do you remember Dana? The flower girl with beautiful long red hair? You know Dana. She went to the desert for some friends. I followed this man with a long robe and silky hair around. They called him Jimmy Jim, which was sounded odd to me. Wasn't Jimmy a derivative of James and Jim his last name? He didn't really roll off the tongue. Maybe a cult leader would be better at coming up with names. Dana kept telling me they were looking for some kind of new wonder. Though that water in cities was too tainted, full of city sweat and bad omens.
City sweat. Ugh. Rock lobster? I wish.
That they need to find a better, cleaner source in the water in the desert.
That doesn't track.
She kept wanting to come with them, telling me this new water would heal everything. A new community would be beautiful. Everyone in harmony and nature and everything. Well, it didn't take long for everyone to get dehydrated. Well, they dug last only a few weeks, and everyone started fighting over the water. I guess I'm just saying that I know you're busy. You've got things to do, people to see, places to be. I don't want to be bothered, but I'll just have to be. I've been thinking about a way to repay you for all that running around. I think I've got a pretty good idea, but I need your help for the final touch. I was talking to one of the people on this boat. I'm so bad with names. Well, new names. I can't seem to remember your passengers. You must be comings and goings. Well, they were saying sometimes the boat goes through a swarm of fireflies. Their bellies are sometimes filled with fire glow seeds. Well, look at that. I got some fire glow. No need for all that trouble then. Some beautiful, perfectly spicy fire glow. Well, what the heck? I can't keep the secret for much longer. Do you remember when you first moved into the building? I had been there for years. I sold the house a few months after David died. The kids were heartbroken at first. They were never there. They just wanted their old rooms to stay intact, I suppose. Well, back to you. Your fridge broke on the first day, poor thing. I could tell you we broke and couldn't afford to take out. Do you remember what happened?
Yes.
That's right. I made you soup. Not just any soup, my favorite soup in the whole wide world. It was laksa. It was the first thing I ate when I moved to the big city alone. I had moved here close to my sister. It was quite the trip. Took a few days. Well, when I got here, my neighbor, Ariana from 32B, invited me to dinner. Neighbors were friendlier back then. She served laksa. I never had tried it before, but I instantly fell in love. For a year straight, I must have invited myself to dinner at least once a week. Hopefully, I didn't overstay my welcome. Her family was so nice. In any case, spicy food became my ultimate friendship test. You can stomach it, and you can stomach me. I will keep pass with flying colors. Anyone help with your fridge. That keep you fed. My gift to you is Ariana's family recipe. I can't recreate it anymore. Well, that's not true. Honestly, at my age, I've done enough cooking for a lifetime. It's time for someone else to take the reins. If you cook a laksa, maybe we can share it. You just have to put fire glow and a delicious powder of grain. That must have slipped my mind. You'll have to figure it out, I suppose. If I had a laksa in front of me, I would remember. Wouldn't that be lovely?
No, but I do need to talk to you. I don't get it. Things were going so well. I don't deserve to be treated this way. Your Astrid just got such an ill temper. What will I do now? I'll go, I suppose. But where? Over there by Tool's workshop? Nope, too chilly. Up Alice's cottage? Nah, that won't cut it. Alright, I'll think about it. See you around, Bambina. Oh, I'm gonna have to build him at his own place. How was my trip home? It was a lot of fun. It was good. Okay, so laksa. I'm gonna guess flowers. Talking about something ground grain. Maybe not. Ventilator's ready to talk to you. Yeah, cook a laksa. Fire glow in that delicious powder of grain. Delicious powder of grain. What could that be? Obviously, that's something I have to make here in the windmill. Well, let's try corn powder, I guess. Cornmeal. Giovanni, no. No, I didn't actually want to do it. I was trying to hit no. The soundtrack, though, yeah, this is... I think this is easily my favorite track, but the whole soundtrack is really good. I mean, the whole game is really good. But this makes me some money, so it's a pretty quick way to do it. We're gonna need more money for the upgrades that are coming. Okay. As soon as I can enter Astrid's door. Astrid, no!
Huh?
Oh, come on, Munchkin, I'm starving. Where is that? Thank you, Munchkin. Sandwich Walk discovered. Ooh, okay, new area. Great news, Stella. I've just received fantastic design for a fireplace. Cold? Oh, silly you. It's not for heating up the gallery. No, no. The hut that's since time immemorial, a central piece of any household. Assembles the tribe as represents unity, warmth, and light against harsh nature. A symbol so fundamental that that it is present in almost all cultures. This piece is a reinterpretation of the concept. Oh, excuse me. Comment if you wish on the collective. I'm sure you will understand very clearly once it's built. Neoclassical fireplace. Okay. Nordic fireplace. That's an interesting combination. Neoclassical Nordic. I don't know why, but it hurts to see him go. I didn't think it would, but here we are. Anyway, it's the right thing to do. Thank you for your help, Stella. Now I need some time. I need to be alone by myself for a little while, I think. Thank you, Munchkin. Thank you for being here by my side. Okay, I think Astrid's getting ready. Sad. Let's go back to Sandwich Walk. What is it, Giovanni? Bambina! Hey, Peanut, you must have noticed by now. I'm not exactly welcome at Astrid's house anymore. What can I say? It's not my fault I'm irresistible. I was born this way. Ladies like me. What can I do? Leave them alone? That would be terribly rude of me. Okay, okay. You don't need to give me that look. I get it, you know. I probably would have done the same. Okay, maybe not exactly the same, but yeah. I know! Hey, you know what? Her loss. I won't come crawling. I'm above this type of behavior. That being said, the stack is a bit frisky at night, though. I have at least a sofa to rest on. What to do? Think, Giovanni, think. Maybe. Hey, Bambina! Could I ask you a favor? Just a teensy-weensy little thing. Your favorite, Giovanni. A place to rest now. Oh, you know what? A nice lounge would be swell. Yes, a lounge. Funky space at the crossroads between a bar and a den. A place where we would unwind, have a fun time, you know. And I could even sleep in there. Come on, do it for me, will you? I'll be on the tab for it. Thank you, Bambina. Thank you. Oh, you'll be on the tab just like every other tab that you've totally paid off every single time? Totally for real? A lounge. Okay. Well, I can in fact build one of those. Build that and then we'll go to bed. talk to him in the morning.
A funky little shack.
Yeah, it's about what he deserves. Stella. Oh, Munchkin, I feel so foolish, so naive. Why did I think you could change? How could I hope he would have been any different? This lying, cheating scumbag. And you... How could you do this to me? You hid... Why did you feel the need to tell me the truth? Don't you think that some things are better left untold? That some secrets deserve to stay unspoken? I'm so mad at you. Look, I know you believe you did the right thing, but things are not that simple. It's always a matter of honesty versus duplicity. I'll take some alone time now. See you later, Stella. You told me. Cool, now I can make olive oil. So the locks, I wonder. Aha! I have a feeling the cornflower is it. You guys are probably hungry, because you're always hungry. I was trying to give you food and you're running away. Be that way. Let's see what this fireplace needs. Zinc ingot and steel sheet. I think I could do that. Yeah, ash and a clear glass sheet. I can complete her house. Can't complete either of those. Don't have pine. The lounge cannot be upgraded. So we're gonna just make these few little things. And then we'll go explore this new island after we've done these upgrades. That was terrible. That was pretty good, actually. Well, it's not that. I made us chilaquiles. It's nice. This is perfect. I couldn't have ever hoped for such a lavish saloon. Can't wait to rest my feet on that sofa. Hey, Peanut. Want me to fix you a drink? Yeah, come on. You know you want one. Just a dash of vodka, virgin Caesar then? Oh, really? Nothing? Bah, suit yourself. If you don't mind me, I'm going to pour myself a little pick-me-up, all right? Catch my drift? Right, wrong crowd. Ciao, ciao. So I'm guessing I can make beverages in here at some point. Oh, hey, we can play music. Nice. The kitty sits on our lap. Is this cow hungry yet? A little bit. I needed to come here. I need a clear glass sheet and something else. Which we will figure out in a moment. Oh. Too much. It was a steel sheet. That's what it was. Hopefully it's just the one. No, now I'm out of zinc ingot. Or, no, I don't have enough zinc ingots. I need more still. I made a clear glass sheet. Didn't I? Oh, I made a crystal glass, I think, by accident. Not a clear glass. Yep, that's exactly what I did. I need silica powder. This is feeling like one of those fetch quest games now. You cannot get E-Flask. Whoops. This is totally a good idea to make your food products in the same industrial machine you make construction contents with. Factory game. A little bit right now. How you doing, P. Tony? Still is just putting in the hours at the factory. However, this factory game you probably wouldn't like because you can't automate it. A co-op of Subnautica with Yenza. That sounds like fun. I'd watch that. What does Yenza think of this? The expressions on the face of your character cracked me up. They are so wonderfully emotive. Just everything about this game is great. It's very well done. You could do a co-op of this, Peter. In the co-op modes, the other player controls the cat. Okay. Oh, that's built up. Cook a Laksa. I think the Laksa might be... It wasn't flour, it wasn't wheat. So I'm thinking it's probably supposed to be... rice. I don't have any rice. So, gonna have to fix that. What is Spiritfarer? I've never watched enough to understand. It's one part Animal Crossing, you know, village management sim, and one part, maybe like half part platformer, and then like the rest of it, and then like one full part of like, I don't know how other to say it other than like psychopomp, but that may not mean something to everyone, because it's really just a story-based game at the end of the day. Like, at its heart, it's about journeying with these souls. And their time in what is basically purgatory. It's nighttime. Let me go to bed. So you get these spirits on your boat, and they journey with you for a long time, and you get to know them. And the things they talk about and live out in the spirit world kind of reflect their lives, particularly towards the end of their life. And at a certain point, they feel ready to go through what's known as the Everdoor, and it takes them into a more eternal, blissful state of life. Would not play in super well. Intended gameplay mechanics to trick me into following plot. That's fair. To thy known self be true, but... There we go. Bambina! No, you can yell Bambina from the top of the boat all you want. Have you ever played Child of Light? No. I'll have to look into it. For game appreciating plot more, Sea of Stars is a huge success. That's good. I'm glad. I have not managed to catch that in any way that is, that allows me to follow along with the plot. Well, I know I built Gustav's thing, but he's not going to be awake yet because he's an artiste. So he sleeps in. Did you want to... Okay, I'll give you some food. Sure, we'll give you... I don't do carbs. I told you they're bad for my glorious silhouette. Uh-huh. Southern boil. Ha! Thank you, Pampina. It's hungry like a lion. Very charming story. That's what I've heard, and I think based on what I have seen, I think I would greatly enjoy it. But I'm starving here. I'm not being dramatic. You're being dramatic. Okay. No, no. I wasn't get anything fried. Wow. Southern boil? You can taste, no, feel the rich flavors. Well, I thought you wanted to speak to me in advanced plot, but, getting over at Death Stream. Will the stream be 30 minutes or 300? I don't think I could do getting over it with Bennett Foddy as a 6-hour stream. Might be able to get away with it as a 3-hour stream. Leave me alone in this darkness. Oh, it's pretty bright, actually. I got a recipe for garlic bread. Oh, that light bulb is burned. Yeah, that seems to be all there was. I think most people finished getting over it in 2 to 3 hours. Hey, Peter, how long did getting over it take you? So we need rice, pine, lobster. I don't think I can get through that ball of fog yet. I'm gonna go to the bus. Actually, we're gonna go to him. Sell some stuff first. 10 to 12? Yeah. Playing on your trackball is interesting. That just sounds miserable. Peanut, look, Peanuts. I think I've overstayed my welcome on this ship. I know. I've only just joined you guys recently, but I don't exactly have anything to say in this, you know? I wish I had. Don't worry, I had a jolly good time. No regrets. I did love that lounge. Bit too much, maybe. I think you may need to restock. Okay, let's go. You know the way, Bambina. Oh, he's ready to go to the Evergore. I've been a little out of sorts lately. I've been having this vivid dream. I'm back home. I'm 5 years old. Mamma Mia is making my favorite meal. Then I wake up. Still taste the beef fondue. Can't wait to go back to sleep. Let's take another nap. Yeah, no, Giovanni's just ready for the Evergore. That was quick. But that's fitting his character, I feel. Should get a supplementary mouse for gaming. No, game the real way. Let's sell some stuff. I don't need all this tchotchke. Okay, hang on to that. Man, collectible card. It's Black Thunder Lotus. Only 2,000 glims? What is this? Do you have any errands? Yes. Let's see what you have for sale. Snod seed. Sure, I'll take it. It's worth as much as Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus is worthless now. Yeah, let's take the bus to get to the Everdoor. It'll be... I guess I'm going to... Anytime I try to do the Comet activity, it's probably going to have to be activated at the lounge? Or maybe Astrid's house? I don't know. We'll find out. Isn't worthless, just worth less. Significantly less. Yeah, and I imagine it's going to keep going down. Don't tell me you're hungry again already. Oh my goodness, how are you guys always this hungry? Free grub. I have olive oil. Oh, something with the olive oil. Olive oil and... yeah, squid. See if we can make some calamari. Let's travel to the Everdoor. It's been a while since we've taken someone to the Everdoor. Here, we'll give you bouillabaisse. Well, this is good, because we actually needed another Spirit Flower to get one of the upgrades. Don't feel like planting any of those right now. Okay, Astrid. Or not Astrid. I always get Astrid and Giovanni mixed up. To be fair, they're both lions. Here we are, Pampina. You know I'm not exactly thrilled, but I've got to go. Ready to bring me there? I think it's the best decision. Okay, let's go. Okay, let me just stop by the kitchen on the way. Oh, I can't. It's done cooking, but it won't let me do anything. You know what, Peanuts? The second I saw you, I knew you were someone special. Someone who, no matter what happened, would always be there and do the right thing. I could see that in people. See the cracks in them. It's easy. Light shines through. I guess that's why I fell in love with Astrid. Astrid. She was the toughest nut you could imagine. She had such intense light inside, shining through warmth and fire, too. Her laugh made mountains tremble, and everyone was happy when she was around. I was happy. I've always spent so much time making sure other people were having fun, making jokes and being the funny guy. They only came for her, really. Her majestic, raw, radiant soul. But you, Bambina, you've got that look in your eyes. That soft, killer vibe. I saw so much of me in you. Your bravery, your sense of humor, your gusto. No, it's been hard doing what you do, accompanying people towards their end. It takes more than guts to do something like that. It takes a soul of steel. But hey, good news, you've got it. You've got it, Bambina. Even if you doubt, even if you don't have faith in yourself, I have so much faith in you. So much faith in your strength. I believe in you, Peanut. Now and forever. And hey, if you need anything, I won't be far. I'll be right there, standing beside you. I'll always be there. Always. Yeah, that was a little creepy, Giovanni. Hey, Mithril, good to see ya. I know I shouldn't leave so soon. Believe me, I wish I could have stayed longer. Right here with you, Peanut. Promise me you'll take care of Astrid when I'm gone, okay? And don't miss me too much, will you? I've never deserved you anyway. But I've loved you, and that won't stop me, even if I'm not around anymore. The ones who really love you know never really leave you, you know. Life is amazing, isn't it? A whirlwind, a tremor, a flickering flame. I've tried so much to live life to the fullest. I regret nothing. Nothing but leaving Astrid. Nothing but leaving you, Stella. I wish I could have seen you grow up even more, but here we are. Alright, pour yourself out one for me, will you? Ciao, Bella. Gail's right, yeah, it's about death. You came actually at the perfect time, because... Hello, we haven't done this in a while. It's ultimately about accompanying souls... in death. Preparing them to enter eternal life. So we're currently rebuilding our memory, it looks like. Because Stella doesn't necessarily fully remember who or when she was, but it looks like that's her moving into the apartment that we've heard so much about. So, but it is a very chill game, because like most of the game you're... Oh, that was ominous. Most of the game you're hanging out with the spirits on your boat, feeding them, tending them. It's very Animal Crossing-esque. Ah! So there is Stella at her work. She's the golden soul. Green soul, I guess, would have been... We had a snake friend earlier. But turns out that Stella knew all these souls in life. She was a palliative care nurse. Memento is an interesting phrase. And yet here we are. And so you return, Spiritfarer, humbled by your confusion, your disarray, your fear. Time and again you call me by my name, whisper echoes of my essence to those too afraid to hear it. As you stand before me, hesitation floods your heart. You seek to tame, but you only serve. And now you truly see me. See what I inflict upon those you love. All these paths you've crossed, these souls you've embraced, their lives intertwined with yours, their faces etched upon your memory. You've opened your heart to the suffering of others, and in return, their spark warms your heart and shapes your fate. Every spirit a reminder. Every spirit a goodbye. What do they teach you? Their struggles? Their drama? Their memories? Your memories? Are they saying their farewells? Or are they saying yours? But you are not ready, Stella. And these souls still need you. Carry out your task, Spiritfarer. Soon your time will come. And we will meet again. For the last time. Okay, cool. So Death is an owl. Grammar makes it sound like saying, remember to die. I guess in a direct translation into English, yeah, but... Latin grammar's really weird and different. No. Why is death an owl of all things? That's a great question. Because it's symbolic, I guess? But look, each of these constellations is a friend of ours that we've journeyed with. No, I want the... There we go. Think it's a Japanese thing? I could see that. Humans love to use owls in metaphors. That is also true. Wish I had learned Latin. Say science just wasn't an option at school. I'm not a huge Latin fan. My brain does not process declension-based languages well. It does better with reflexive languages like English. So Latin grammar just never clicked in my brain. Olga, you have aluminum and oak. We may as well visit you because you're here. A new design! Oh, Stella, I have received the most amazing submission. This is designed for a clock. One of the strongest symbols of humanity's dedication to rising above its slowly station. The measuring of time beats the path through its accounting, which in turn allows for long-term planning. When the first humans started this colossal and seemingly pointless task of measuring time, they extracted themselves from the instant. They stopped surviving as animals. Instead, they started surviving as a species. Humanity was born when the apes decided that they would play timekeepers. I'm sorry, I was lost in my thoughts. He's quite a poet. Anyway, I'm quite excited by this new design and entrust it to you. Minimalist clock. Why am I not surprised that it's minimalist? Someone wanted to talk to me, but now they're gone. Astrid? You need a hug. I needed that. Gallia est omnes divisa in partes tres. That is a sentence. Poor thing is starving. Have a potato. Not just minimalist, it's max minimalist. How wholesome, offering hugs. Yeah, you can hug everyone in this game, but you can't just endlessly hug them either. Like, it has a message ultimately of like, hey, there's also, like, Like, people have the right to say no to your hug. Can you hug the factory? Sure. I think I am the factory. I can hug the cat. Let's see. What do I want more of? I'm running low on quartz, actually, so I'll definitely put... Nope. Put some quartz in. Nope. Wrong button. Let's put in some silver ore, because that's an easier way to get silver. Thank you, giant turtle. Am I growing metal? No, she's growing metal. Don't be ridiculous. I can't grow metal. Gold ingots and rose gold sheet. I don't have gold, my dude. I don't know how I feel. Should I be sad? Should I be happy? Angry? I can feel his absence. But at the same time, it's as if something has been fulfilled. Completed. You know what I mean, Munchkin? Am I a bad person? Is it okay for someone to feel liberated under such circumstances? Yes. I'm sorry, Stella. I don't want to sound ungrateful. I'm still a bit shaken, but not lost. At least you're here with me. That's the most important thing. My heart is stronger because you're in it. What if the metal was the sheets we grew along the way? I think that would be very impressive. Okay, I think I need just to give them a lobster roll. Let Astrid live her best life. Okay. So I think at this point it's basically... I need to do some resource gathering. Ooh, linen seeds. I could actually use those. Maybe let's go up here to Albert's shipyard. See if we can do any improvements. And then we'll head east. We'll get the linen seeds because we're out of linen. And then we'll get rice. We need rice. Hey, Beer Fox. Unfortunately, I don't have the distillery built yet. Where is that? The cellar, I need a little more linen, which I can do, but I need the bottled ectoplasm, which I have no idea. Which I'm guessing is probably something I need to do. I need a new spirit to help me with. All those images come back to me, waking up at night. Think of all the horrors during the war, all my friends who died, the joys of liberation, and of course, all those children we hid in the basement of the factory. Granny Sue and I were so young, only a few years older than them, 16, 17 maybe. I didn't realize what I was doing, all the implications, all the risks. But I was young and I didn't see any other option. I couldn't leave those kids out there. They were so afraid, so small. We knew most of their parents. Oh, none of them came back. Oh no, you remembered sad times. I can't Did someone say distillery? Try Japanese whiskey for the first time. I hear Japanese whiskey is very good. I have no frame of reference because I don't really like whiskey. And I don't even drink. How close are we? Oh, we are almost there, okay. It's very much in the Scotch vein of whiskeys. Okay. Also, wait. Wait, what? Or is that a Scotch whiskey term? You've got a cow on your boat. That's neat. You know why cows have hooves instead of feet? Because they lack toes. Thank you, Albert. No, I don't anymore. I used to, but life choice and various reasons, I'm like, you know what? Don't need that. Okay, so we need one more spirit flower, bottled ectoplasm, so we have to be able to get that somewhere within where we are. So that's probably just a spirit we're missing. So, because the mist cleaner clears out the mist, that opens up the last area, and then these two just make you go faster. Well, may as well buy that upgrade, because we have the money for it. And we're going to need it. I was attempting to discern sarcasm. Nope. Some black cherry whiskey at home. That sounds interesting. Is that Shark Bowser? Sounds like... It's Shark Bowser who makes dad jokes. Fruit candy. That's... Yeah, actually, that's how you make that sort of thing. Pork and sunflower oil. Yeah, Brooklyn has a special effect on me, too. Okay, I think we're good on improvements in everyone's homes. Electrum and Pine, don't have that, but don't care because that's just to upgrade that room. So it'll come later. Need zinc ore for that, and bottled ectoplasm for that, so. It's Brooklyn Brewing's NA line. Oh, I didn't know that. I'll have to check it out. Sierra Nevada has had an NA line as well. Ooh. I quite like, Bravas Brewing. Garden seed sample. Oh, my bad. I'm blended seed. That's what I need. Buy 15 of those. Ooh, schnitzel. It's a shame I don't like mushrooms, because otherwise I could have Jaeger schnitzel. So I need mist cleaner to get through there and there. So let's see. Oak, mushroom, strawberry, tea, lettuce, cherry, linen. There's a spirit there still, I think. I think when it's colored in, it means it's still there. It's sometimes hard to tell. Yeah, because there, Mount Toriyama, I have the sheep. Coal. Wheat. Oak. Ah, rice seeds. Okay, so we're going to go to the bus stop there, next to the Quartz Dragon. There you go. There's the mushroom. The vile mushroom. Remember, kids, whatever you're seeing as the fruiting body is not the entire thing. And in fact, it's not even the majority of it. Partake in brew dogs. Okay, I'll have to keep an eye out for them. Ah. Dang it, we didn't quite make it to the bus stop. You guys see the majority of a human, just the epithelium. Okay, well... That's a terrible way to put it. This clock is highly inaccurate. It only has one hand. Yeah. No. No! Talk to the seal! You kids and your fancy two hands. Yes. I guess since we're down here, there's that island that has a spirit, so we'll need to go there, but I'm also cognizant of the time, so we may not quite get there. So I'm going to need your help to remind me. Get off on a few minutes. Hey. No, thanks for being here, Britt. Good to see you. You have a whole fridge section of NA beers nowadays. It's great. It is. There is a chain of NA stores here in the city. They recently closed down all their physical locations, but they still work online, which is nice. But it's like, oh, they would do tastings, and like you could go, and it would be nice, and look at things and ask the employees questions. By Lost at Sea. This is what happens when you... I don't know what this is, but I'm buying it. It's a key item. And it's cheap. Island that has spirits? You mean like the Rob might have in the variety Caribbean countries? Yes, exactly like that. Okay, we're gonna get this boat moving. To the lighthouse. So odd question, since I see Twitch is promoting Latin luminaries. If they're using a VTuber model, how do we know they're actually Latin? Trust in the decency of human beings, I guess? You lost that long ago? Well, I got... You know, I think there's a better space to do it, but... As Catholics, we do believe in original sin and its effects. But we do also believe in the image and likeness of God in people as well. Not actually, it's a fair response.
Sweet pea! I'd go for a snack.
She's turned into just a character from Teen Girl Squad. I don't make the rules. She's so loud when she eats. Okay, I have this... Oh, that's a thing I can put in the projector. Okay. That's like the rule anyway. I mean, yeah. What does Lost at Sea reveal to us? Oh no! It's a little dude! It's a little dude, and I don't know where to find the little dude. Speaking of questions for Father, hi, by the way. Hi, Squirrel. Good to see you. Required for full participation in the Mass? Singing in church? So, is it required? No, but I think it's good because that's actually really where the phrase originates when talking about full conscious participation, active participation is like, because you have to understand, especially in the Latin Mass, it was what the priest says and then what the response is, and like the response at the more important and solemn occasions, it would all be sung. So the idea would be to sing along with it, and it was about getting people involved and singing in it. So you have singular pork. Okay, I want to go a little longer today just to see if we can get this other spirit really quickly. Because that's what we were missing before. Oh, look, it's a light bulb, just like that other place that we saw. By the 11 stars, I knew you would come. The chosen one, the Spiritfarer. A mere glimpse of your white sail on the horizon, gleaming with hope and virtue, suffice to brighten my soul. A simple glance at your glorious galleon made my heart race in awe. Praise be Halor. You are here, Commander. One can only bow in front of your illustrious presence. I am Buck, the humble servant and narrator. No, that's my job. Better watch out, buddy. My modest presence in your august vessel will guide the footsteps on the path to glory. Oh, may the radiant Fae bless your hat forever. This is a grand day. The joy overwhelming me is Mount Ferraris. Vast is the great sea. To the vessel! Buddy, you're a lot. Heard the quote sing is like praying twice, but I ain't that confident. So interestingly, that's actually an Augustine quote, but it's singing well. Is people always edit out the well part, but yeah. No, it's a good question. Words cannot aptly describe the immensity of my joy, Commander, at the idea of my humble presence here on this very deck, but also as I gaze into the stars and impatiently wait for our future adventures to unfold. Commander, the duty of knowledge rests heavily on my frail shoulders. I must inform you of your mission. Laid ahead of us by the tortuous vicissitudes of fate itself, your task is the utmost importance. With your power, the cruel and terrible Lich God Gor Nemloth can be finally defeated. Wait a minute. You're just a nerd. You're just a LARPing nerd. Make a fear check. 15! He is! He's this nerd! Oh my goodness. No, singing's good, but if you can't do it, don't expect that you have to lead it. But you know what? If you're not good at singing, I don't consider myself a very good singer, but I still love singing in choir anyway. Not in like the choir, but like singing in a congregation or like at a concert or anything. Or you know, just go for it. Praise God. Don't let others hold you back. Your courage jumps forth and your mind stays clear at the untroubled sound of this name. Gorlemnoth wants to conquer the sun itself. He conspires to steal the light itself. You must stop him at once. Only your powers can shield the world from his unholy plot. The bulwark of the stars will make the whole sky whole once more. But before we delve further into the treacherous plans of the Lich God, some preparations are in order. Your humble narrator needs a little something before we venture forth on our grand journey. In the shadowy alleys of Edgeborough Lane lies an emporium of great interest, a bazaar whose gilded cabinets harbor artifacts of epic value and great rarity. Its owner's an eccentric shopkeeper, is equal parts shoddy and unscrupulous. This scoundrel's got in his possession a unique scroll I covet. On this magic scroll is written great details of how to erect a very special mage tower, a lair of infinite wonders. Only the scroll will allow you to build it, so I, your modest chronicler, can set my quarters on it. Onward! Let us set forth the wretched shores of the Emerald City. Edgeborough Lane is kind of green after all. Buddy. Somebody tried to open my door. Oh, that was probably Dave. That was probably Father Dave, my boss. But I think that's the perfect place to call it for a day. So, save and quit real quick. So, if you're singing with a bunch of other people, they will keep you from sounding bad. Bold assumption. I will say hi to Dave. If you want, I got him a camera mount for his cell phone for his birthday, so he probably wanted me to help him with that. I still call feared 4E and prior rather than frightened 5E. That's fair. But yeah, so thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. Join us again tomorrow for Midweek Minecraft. Gonna be working on something outside of the church, but for the church, for Memento Mori month. And then Thursday, for Throwback Thursday, we're starting Loom, Loom, Loom. It's a great point-and-click adventure game, great for Memento Mori month. And then next Monday, back to Chrono Trigger. So schedule should be normal for a little while. You adore Loom? All right. Yeah, bring my pen and paper for Loom? Absolutely. You think this is my first time, Gail? Ask me about Loom. Yes, absolutely. Ask me about Loom. It's a great game. So I'm looking forward to going through that. But yeah, so thanks so much for tuning in. For everyone who liked, followed, subscribed, all that good jazz. And we will let's see who's live to raid into. Gonna send you all over to Celestium Art. She's part of a upcoming raid train that I'm part of. Actually, I can show you really quickly. Please let that have worked. There it is. So another raid. This one's all a bunch of Christian content creators. I don't remember the names of everyone based on their little pictures, but there's me. There I am. I'll be live on Friday night. Not this week, but next, doing some extra Minecraft, leading into Game of Faves. So yeah, so check out all these cool people out. Should be a lot of fun. Raid call will be the standard father raid. Spam the meat morp if you've got it. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Take care, and God bless.